The Congress party has claimed that there were 6 surgical strikes, 6 viewers, conducted under the UPA government. They've given the dates, but there's a problem here. The UPA's operations were covert, lacked public acknowledgement, and were not branded as surgical strikes at that time, raising questions about whether they meet the modern definition or were simply tactical cross-border raids, or in words of Mallikarjun Kharge, chut-put actions. Viewers, the absence of official records as per the 2019 RTI reply only complicates the Congress's claims. The lack of documented evidence undermines the party's assertion of 6 distinct surgical strikes. Many believe that Congress is now retroactively branding routine LOC skirmishes, or you can call them intelligence-based operations, as surgical strikes to counter the BJP's narrative dominance. The surgical strike debate, viewers, is as much about politics as it is about military history. The BJP has portrayed itself as the torchbearer of a muscular, proactive national security policy, with 2016 Uri strike and the 2019 Balakot airstrike serving as crown jewels in their narrative. Operation Sindoor is now reinforcing that image. Tharoor's praise for these actions, even as a Congress MP, underscores the difficulty of opposing a narrative that resonates with public sentiment. Viewers, but the Congress faces a dilemma. I'll tell you what that is. By claiming 6 surgical strikes under the UPA, it seeks to reclaim credit for anti-terror legacy while accusing the BJP of politicizing military actions. Think about it. The party's insistence on highlighting UPA-era strikes while simultaneously criticizing Tharoor for praising Modi's policies creates a perception of confusion and absurdity. Nothing else. Let's quickly open this up. Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia is now joining us. Former DGMO, needs no introduction. Sir, good evening. Jai Hind. First questions first, sir. I remember speaking to you during the time of the surgical strike, and you were very clear. Now, the Congress party has today posted that, look, under the UPA, there were 6 surgical strikes. What do you make of this?
These strikes, firstly, let me tell you that the armed forces are totally apolitical. And I will not get involved in the politics of it. Let me put it in the right perspective, in the right context. The surgical strikes of 2016 were the first of its own kind. It was strategic in nature. It conveyed a strategic signaling. It was a different domain. It was planned, executed at the highest levels. And the impact of the surgical strikes was beyond the trans-LC operations of earlier days. I've been directly or indirectly involved in some of them. You are showing the June 2008 strikes. I was the General Officer commanding the 25 days. These were planned and executed by me as the General Officer commanding in Rajouri. Right? I can give the details as required. But when we talk about surgical strikes, it was punitive and preemptive in nature. In 2016, we should look at it that it was in POK, it was in terrorist launch pads, and it was in multiple launch pads, and it sent a signal to Pakistan that our strategic patience run out. We are showing strategic resolve, and the strategy at the same time. And similar signal has gone during the Jabba precision strikes, which we wrongly call Balakot, and also Op Sindoor. So these are different in domain, different impact. If you look at the impact, if you talk the earlier strikes, I won't call it strikes, actually, operations, tactical operations. These were basically, you have 4 tasks along the line of control, the formations and the units. One is ensure sanctity of the line of control. 2 is defend the line of control. 3 is ensure no infiltration, counter-infiltration. And the 4th task is moral ascendancy, right? So when you talk of these operations of what they're talking about, 6 operations, these are the moral ascendancy domain. At the formation level, at the unit level, to ensure moral ascendancy, this is action-reaction, this thing.
Right, action-reaction. Yeah, right. Now, General Bhatia, let me ask you this. You are saying that, these were not surgical strikes. These were tactical operations, action, reaction. Then why are people confusing, by saying that, look, there were 6 surgical strikes? What is the difference?
Difference is at the level they were planned and executed. Where the surgical strikes were planned at the apex level, at the highest level, where the CCS, possibly the political level, the military operations, the 3 services, and the MEA, they all come together and they plan that and they just come together. The earlier operations, like the 2008 one, was planned at the level of the division, right? So that is the difference. Look at the impact.
No, so General Bhatia, I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. It's an important point that you're making. The difference between a surgical strike carried out in 2016, the Balakot, and now Operation Sindoor, under the Modi government, and the 6 listed by the Congress that you're saying were tactical operations is very simply this, that a surgical strike requires a politico-military will. A tactical operation happens at the military level, right?
Yes, it requires a politico-military will, and it requires politico-military synergy at the highest levels. And I'm talking about the impact. When I say the impact, if you look at 2008 strikes, whatever they call it, operations, tactical operations, and it was actually off Benar, I was the UC there, right? And we had 2008, thereafter we had the Mumbai terror attacks. But after 2016 September, we had no terrorist attack outside of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
Okay. Right. That is the signal which has gone to Pakistan that after 2000, we had 2019 Pulwama, which was a very bad one. And we had Pelgam, which was, anger and anguish, fine. But there were no terror strikes after 2016, 26 September, or let's say September 2016, outside of Jammu and Kashmir. So that is the impact I'm talking about. Look at the, it is the impact that matters.
Right.
Because Pakistan lies in the cost and consequences of the terror, which is there earlier. It was a low-cost, high-impact war. Today, it's a high-cost, low-impact war, the proxy war.
Right.
Okay. So that is the difference I'm talking about.
Thank you, sir. General Bhatia, as clear as always, thank you for underlining the difference between a tactical operation and a surgical strike. Much needed, because of this misinformation, disinformation campaign which is going on. Always a pleasure to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You heard the man who was part of some of these tactical operations that the Congress says were surgical strikes. The man who was part of that operation is refusing to call it surgical strike, but the Congress party is calling it surgical strike. Now, Tehseen, yeah, do I have to ask a question? Ab sun to liya aapne.
On the onset, though General Bhatia is no longer there, I want to thank him for his services to our nation. It's because of people like him that we're safe. Pranesh, I will repeat what I said in the earlier segment, that every government has tried its best at all given times to deal with Pakistan with an iron hand or what you may have. Breaking it into 2, Operation Parikrama by the late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, where we had our soldiers at the border. That didn't lead to war, Kargil war, but before that we had diplomacy. President, Army Chief Musharraf was in India, Prime Minister Vajpayee.
Of that, breaking into 2, etc., etc. It's all documented. Who's denying?
And then we've had this government which started off in 2014 by getting the SAARC leaders to India and trying peace. We even got ISI to Pathankot, something I've been critical about. So we've tried to reach out, and then we've gradually escalated the scale of
that is why Congress is saying that, look, this is the list of the 6 surgical strikes. What is the tit for tat policy? If you haven't done 6 surgical strikes, keep quiet. You talk about 1971. Is anyone disputing that? No one. But if you haven't done surgical strikes, then why unnecessarily create confusion? Why do this? Kapil Madan, the man who was part of the operation, Congress party बोल रही है हमने 6 surgical strike किए. वो DGMO थे पहले, Lt Gen Bhatia. उनको सुन लिया आपने, वो बोल रहे हैं surgical strike नहीं था ये, tactical operation था.
So Just a minute, Pranesh. So if for example, if our army goes there and I call it a tactical operation, and if our army is going during the NDA regime, and if they are calling it as a surgical operation, will the intent or the operations that they've done or the nature of the operation that they've done will change?
Yes. I'll tell you the difference.
So,
आपको पता नहीं, forgive me for saying this, मैं इसको एकदम ही वो स्कूल बॉय लैंग्वेज में ब्रेक कर देता हूं. All surgical strikes are tactical operations, but all tactical operations are not surgical strikes. ये difference. अब मैं इसमें और ज्यादा कुछ बोलना नहीं चाहता हूं. Dr. Ranganathan, before I get the BJP, this is not about one party versus the other. This is about our country, our forces.
I'll be very brief, Pranesh. Look, the only surgical strike concerning the Congress has been made by Shashi Tharoor on the Congress. And as for all you Congress men and women going after poor Tharoor and berating him, I'm afraid there is as much intellect in you as there is MDH garam masala in authentic sambar. You are fustian turnips, well advised to use eclair sissimon instead of vantageous obluxations, or it is calaboose for all of you. Your bacchanalia longoria is but the aboral ablectation of discernment from the pabulum of syllogism. This sanguisugent politicking must end. You have become the acquisure who conceives and also delivers hot air. Abriction is high. Beware.
Thou speak in language thee can decode.
Yeah.
Pranesh, the Congress party, even in 30 seconds, does not know how to lie. The Congress party has claimed here, on 14 January 2014, it conducted a surgical strike, right? This is the article.
We have the Congress poster. I think you're trying to show the Congress poster.
Just check there.
Let's have the Congress poster.
I will expose
on
this
the
here and tell you how the Congress lies. 14 January 2014, please look at it. I have the article here from the press. This is from the Hindu, where on 14 January 2014, the Indian and the Pakistani troops were exchanging sweets on Milad. So even the Congress party's official Twitter handle is not able to lie properly because they know that the Congress party has not done a single surgical strike. On 14 January 2014, as claimed by the Congress party in its official Twitter handle, which you are showing, the Indian and the Pakistani troops were exchanging sweets. This is where this exactly happens when you lie. If you do not believe in this, then you look at what the DGMO has said in an official RTI inquiry, where it says that there is no record of any previous surgical strike before 2016. If you do not believe this, let me tell you what Shiv Shankar Menon in his book has said, that we had a proposal to attack the LET in Muridke. Pranab Mukherjee was also convinced that we should do so. However, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi said we should not attack the LET. This is why after 26/11, not even a cheaty was harmed in Pakistan by the Congress party. Even the Congress official handle is exposing the Congress today. I have nothing more to say.
No, but I'm saying that, what more proof do you need when the man who was part of the operation is refusing to call it surgical strike? अब इससे बड़ा सबूत, ये जो सबूत करते हैं, उनके लिए इससे बड़ा सबूत क्या हो सकता है, डॉक्टर रंगनाथन?
नहीं, देखिए, I completely echo what Pradeep has said, but the fact also remains, and Tehseen and my good friend Kapil would agree with me. Who has taught Pakistan a lesson? You don't teach Pakistan a lesson by not bombing their terror targets, for heaven's sake, Tehseen, as was advised by the Air Force Chief and denied. You don't, teach Pakistan a lesson by making it the most favored nation, as happened after 26/11 and continued to. These are things you don't do. So can the Congress please, under your tutelage, I'm hoping and praying, both of you get in charge instead of Udit Raj and Jairam Ramesh and God knows who. You please tell Congress कि सुधर जाओ थोड़ा सा.
बोलेंगे आप तहसीन?
Look, different governments have taken different approaches. This government has escalated, rightfully so, the price Pakistan will have to pay for terrorism that it inflicts upon us. And I think that is important. I think politics over this should not happen by both ends. And if you're rightfully criticizing the Congress, and I have nothing against this.
One second.
Let me make a point. All these posters of the Honorable Prime Minister with Operation Sindoor, all these speeches. I think that is also not required. I think Pakistan must be, we are, like I said, we're doing the world a favor.
Congress's handle, posting
I approve that our army is political and no political,
etc.
I approve.
That is not the debate. That is not the debate now. The debate is very simply.
Do you agree?
No,
can I?
Just 10 seconds. I'm speaking to the people. 1 minute.
Okay, 10 seconds.
This is about Tehseen. This is very simply about surgical strikes. If the Congress did not do surgical strikes, then don't say we did surgical strikes.
I agree with you.
The debate ends there.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Now I'm going to ask. I agree 100%. No if or but. This shouldn't happen. Now I'm going to ask. When you ask for votes on the name of Pulwama martyrs, is that accepted?
I'll answer.
Is that accepted?
Can I answer?
Can I please?
Please answer.
Can I answer? Well, the country knows that it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government which has given a complete fully shoot to the forces. This is there about the political leadership. What is about politicking? Politicking is after 26/11 when you do not attack Pakistan. That is politicking. Why will we not put the crime? Why will we not put the crime? Why will we not do it?
Do you accept army should be political?
You put the picture of homicide. Why will we not put the picture of Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Army uniform.
Pakistan.
Calm down.
We will. No, I will not calm down when he goes against and says, remove the pictures of Indira Gandhi from all Congress office and then speak. Remove it.
What logic is that? That's an absurd logic, my friend.
That's exactly the logic.
How's that?
Tehseen, 1 minute.
Is Indira Ji in army uniform?
Important. Let's listen to him. Yes.
Look, what you say is half right. And what is right there? We all Indians cutting across party lines are proud of our armed forces. Since 1947 we are. But what Pradeep is saying is also true. The people who have commanded them are the ones who've taken the tough decisions. We still have had the bravest of armed forces in the wake of 2008 Mumbai attacks. But did we bomb Pakistan terror hideouts? We could have, we didn't. So please, let us admit what was wrong and let us admit what has been done right. What's wrong in it?
Kapil Madan, अगर 1971 के लिए rightfully credit Indira Gandhi को जाता है for the political will she showed, तो यहाँ पे आप लोग फिर क्यों बार बार बोलते हैं कि नरेंद्र मोदी को सीखना चाहिए इंदिरा जी से एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा?
Just one thing, Pranesh here. In 2014, when Mr. Modi took oath as a Prime Minister, why did he call Nawaz Sharif here? He was invited formally on the oath taking ceremony. Point number 2. No, there's not an absurd logic.
What are you trying to say?
What Pradeep is saying. I'm just trying to how paradoxical you can be. He made these kind of remarks.
There is no paradox. This is a 1 minute. We are a peace-loving country. We are a peace-loving country. The outreach was genuine. That look, end terror, end the proxy war that you're doing. Let's have, let's resolve our differences if there are any. What is the harm in them? And if you are, if you have such strong views about Pakistan, Kapil Madan, then you should have acted against Manishankar Ayyars of the world who went there and said, look, हमें मोदी के सरकार को हटाना है. Can you believe it? He said something like this. I don't remember exactly क्या बोला, but ऐसा ही कुछ बोला था. कि हमें मोदी सरकार को हटाने में आपकी मदद चाहिए ऐसे कुछ बोला था तब क्यों नहीं एक्ट किया प्रदीप
Pranesh, I have a simple question. If they are truly patriotic and nationalist, एक चीटी का भी आप नाम बता दो जो पाकिस्तान में इन्होंने 26/11 आतंकवादी हमले के बाद मारी हो तो मैं मान जाऊं. ये तो 26/11 कह रहे थे पाकिस्तान ने नहीं करा, आरएसएस ने करा है. That is their true intent. I am questioning the intent. I am not questioning. Forces have always been valorous. Forces have always been brave since 1947. It's the leadership which makes a difference and gives them complete free hand, and that is why the forces could attack.
5 सेकंड मान रहे हैं डॉक्टर उनको दे दीजिए 5 सेकंड.
But I'll get a 1-line response.
प्रदीप ने एकदम कपिल एक सेकेंड आई कंप्लीटली एको व्हाट प्रदीप हैज सेड कि ये तो पाकिस्तान को सबक सिखाने का दूर, ये तो कह रहे थे कि 26/11 जो है वो आरएसएस ने करवाया. लेकिन जिसने ये कहा था कांग्रेसी ने प्रदीप, वो अब कौन सी पार्टी में है?
जवाब देता हूं. बहुत अच्छा सवाल है आनंद भाई. अगर कोई रावण की सेना से प्रभु श्री राम की सेना में आना चाहता है, उसका हृदय परिवर्तन होता है, तो आप क्या करोगे? हाँ आनंद जी, क्या करोगे आप बताओ? कैसी बात कर रहे हो आप? आपको सोचना चाहिए. जो पाकिस्तानी जो रावण की सेना में है, आपको सोचना चाहिए ये बात, और आपको तो वेलकम करना चाहिए कि लोग इस तरीके से आम गिव अप करके आ रहे हैं.
शशि थरूर का हो रहा है, मनीष तिवारी का हो रहा है, पता नहीं तहसीन पूनावाला का भी बॉर्डर लाइन है हृदय परिवर्तन. व्यूअर्स, बट let's, all seriousness, One thing is clear after what the Lt General Vinod Bhatia has said. He's put this debate to rest. The Congress party did not conduct any surgical strikes. They were tactical operations, not surgical strikes. Period. It ends there. I thank all of you for joining us. The news are on the other side.